How did you meet Noella? Because, I mean, most mothers are like, no, my children. Noella is like, okay. I mean, when and how did you meet Noella?
Now, first of all, I'm a born-again Christian. I gave my life to Christ many years ago. I walk with the good Lord Jesus Christ. And my parents, too, are born-again Christians. And incidentally, Noella's parents are born-again Christians. So, you know, we kind of pretty much met each other in church or just saw each other in church. So that's where the first meet started. And then I met her at some, I remember meeting her somewhere, wanted to give her a lift. She was going from one point to another. I gave her a lift. We started talking, and then, yeah, I met Noella in 1999, end of 1999. And she was my millennium gift. Yeah, going into 2000, a millennium gift. And we actually dated for a few years and then got married in 2003. So we've been married 17 years. God has blessed us with 17 years of marriage and 4 great boys.
Has she always supported you?
Initially, kind of, you know, we rallied together.
Yes!
Even before we were married. When I met her, you know, her dad had rallied before many years ago.
So it was also in her family,
It's also in her family. So we rallied together, and, you know, her parents supported her, my parents supported me. So pretty much we actually, you know, did some good rallies together. And it's up until when after we got married, then she got pregnant with our firstborn. Then she pulled out of rallying. I continued to rally.
Yes.
And then I also eventually stopped rallying at some point because I was rallying and doing motocross. So I was paying more attention to rally. Then motorcycling again started going downhill. So I quit motor rally and decided to focus on motorcycling and put more effort in building motocross to what we have today.
What we have today.
I believe I have played a very big role. I don't mean to blow my horns, but I've played a very big role in getting motorcycle racing or motocross to what it is today.
When did you get into rallying?
Actually in 2000.
Okay.
In 2000, me and my cousin William Blick, I bought this car from Charlie Lubega. You know, now it was time for me to return the favor because I raced on his bike. He had a bike, I didn't. So I bought the car and we rallied together. He would rally one rally, I rally the next.
Okay.
You know, in the same car. A Mitsubishi Galant VR4. I bought that. It was an ex-Charlie Lubega car. We rallied that for some time until eventually he got his own car and I got the Toyota Supra, hissing Cobra from Chip Adams. So we both went different paths. He got a car that was formerly owned by the late Charles Mohanji.
Okay.
A Mitsubishi Evolution 1. Then we went different paths. We rallied for a few years. I think I stopped in 2004. He stopped maybe a little further, 2005 or 6. But he won the Clubman Rally Championship in 2002. So I know many people now know him as the Uganda Olympic Committee boss, but believe me, he's done it all. You know, motorcycling, he was rugby player of the year.
Yes, I remember.
So our family, we really, when we go into anything, we want to do it to the best.
Okay. When you had your first son, Arthur.
Yeah.
The third.
Arthur Blick the third.
Yes,
Yeah.
Arthur Blick the third. Did you feel different in terms of, you know, looking at sport, racing? Because some people say, like, once you get that responsibility of becoming a father, you start to say, I need to be a lot more careful. Did you go through that?
Oh, yes. To be honest, I think me and my wife, we got married young compared to many relationships and marriages we've seen. So for us, everything was an adventure, you know, pretty much, you know. Oops, now we are getting a baby. Whoa, that was a different adventure. First of all, the wedding itself, you know, in our generation, you know, we were pretty much the first in our generation to get married. We're asking what happens, what do you do, what do you need to do to get, you know, in a wedding, what's required, you know, at that time. So that was a whole new adventure for us. Well, we got married in 2003. It was done. Then when Noella got pregnant, and then our first son came along, and that was a whole different adventure, you know.
I like that word. I like that word, adventure.
It was, I'm telling you, you know. Because you're asking, what does Noella need to be eating or drinking or what? The belly is growing bigger. We're thinking, okay, you know. And then I just remember the day he was born in 2003, October 6th, we were at the International Hospital, the old one, when it was still in Old Kampala. But I remember in the middle of the night, you know, I think he stayed in the belly a bit too long. I think pretty much a little longer than 9 months. It was probably almost 10 months.
He was still comfortable, huh?
Still comfortable. But I remember the day he was, I mean, when he was born, the whole hospital knew that, okay, there's a baby that has been born. I mean, all babies, you know, when they would cry, you know, very silent cry. But this guy, screamed his lungs out, you know. The entire hospital woke up. It was in the middle of the night, but oh my God, he yelled. I first thought there was another kid crying, an older kid, just to call me, oh, here's your son. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, he's yelling, you know. He was yelling. His fingernails were all overgrown, his hair overgrown. Believe me, it was an adventure. You know, we didn't know what to do. Do we give him something to drink to stop the crying?
Like, what's wrong?
So that was an adventure of its own. And yeah, and like I told you, we wanted the guy to ride when he was still 2 years old.
You were rushing him.
Rushing him.
But I guess he was ready, though.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he was. I mean, he just kind of got into the whole system so easily. I mean, he had bike control, he had balance, an amazing balance, you know, which is very difficult to find with even older riders. And then the next year came along, I was second born, Paddy.
So you had these two little ones who were so close together.
I'm telling you, sleepless nights. Oh my goodness, we developed insomnia there. You know, when you get them one year after the other, oh my God, now we know that's a mistake, you know, because we were not sleeping with the firstborn. Then now the second one came along, completely zero sleep, you know.
You just forget about it for the next 3 years.
Exactly. We did not sleep like for 3 years. We're moving around the daytime like zombies, you know. That was quite an experience.
Now the thing about sports and motor racing, I mean, it takes a toll on your body.
Oh yes.
Yeah. What about you? Did you have any bad injuries, or have you been lucky?
To be honest, I have had a few. I've had a couple of injuries, but I don't want to scare anybody out there trying to get into motorcycling. I think the protective gear today is amazing. I mean, I've gotten knee injuries before this protective gear. You know, now
that was what was missing.
That was what was missing. We have knee braces, which are a must now for riders today.
Is it because of the landings? There's a lot of
you know, knees take a toll, quite a toll in actually also many sports activities. because, you know, mostly, you know, you get injuries of the ligaments, you know. That way, when the knee goes where it shouldn't go, you rip the ligaments. So these knee braces keep those in place. Unfortunately, I've torn ligaments in both my knees. This collarbone, I've fractured it twice. This one twice. And
Okay.
I've broken my foot. I fractured my elbow, but that was horse riding in the Katatumba Academy.
Okay.
That was my first injury. So I've gotten a few injuries along the way, but none is life-threatening. And I feel that today, many of these injuries can be avoided with the protective gear that's there today. And yeah, unfortunately also my second born, Paddy. Paddy has also had his fair share of injuries.
Okay.
He's fractured a few bones. But yeah, I mean, life, like my dad said, you know, when we're all worried that he broke his back, if I'd race, I'll also break my back. You know, my dad then said, you know, at one point he then says, you know, everybody has their own path.
Yeah.
He was unlucky. It doesn't mean I'll be unlucky. So sadly, Paddy has gone through that, but that's the end, I'm sure. And, you know, a different part of his life will come up with more blessings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's been injuries. For us in our family, breaking a bone is like, you know, oh, you broke a bone, okay. That's it's like, it's part of the norm.
Okay.
You know. I know other families, you've broken a bone. Oh my God, what? You know. For us, it's part of the norm.
Yeah.
It's not to, you know, we.
And it will heal.
And it will heal, you know. Oh, you'll have 3 weeks. We even know the healing period, you know. You've broken your humerus. Oh, you know, that will be about 6 months. Oh, you've broken your femur. You know, your collarbone. Oh, that's just 3 weeks, you know. So we've been there and done it all.
Okay. All right. You once said that your dad is like one of your biggest inspirations because despite what happened to him,
Yes.
he's still done so many amazing things.
I'm telling you, you know, I need to tell you about this. First of all, my dad, the greatest inspiration to come into racing was my dad, you know. His achievements and the fact that he's disabled, but what he's done in his lifetime, disabled. I mean, he was disabled at a very young age. I mean, at the prime of his life, you know. He was about, I think he was 33, 34. I mean, now he's like 70, 74. He's been in the wheelchair for 40 years plus, you know. So, and what he's achieved, you know, it just inspires me to push and push as hard as I can in everything I do. And, you know, we try to encourage our children as well to push as hard as they can in everything they do. My mom also played a very big role. I mean, looking after us at some point as a single mom. I mean, I give it up to her. She's, those are very, very, I must say, the loves of my life. Yeah, and of course my late uncle, Paddy, he also inspired me a lot. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2004, heart attack, but he inspired me a lot. My Auntie Maggie, amazing lady, you know. I mean, she's also been a single mom for so many years, and what she's achieved and accomplished, and still accomplishing, just amazing, amazing. Those are the, you know, the key inspirational members of my family. You know, we also have some friends. Chip Adams, I must mention Chip Adams. He's like a second father to me. I mean, he's guided me and introduced me to, I mean, I was telling you about fabrication, you know. he comes to me and says, you know, why did you start fabrication, you know? And I'm thinking, okay, fabrication, you know, should I go and start welding beds or chairs? Everybody does that. No, you know, you try and do something that's
unique, that's different.
You know, I started doing bull bars, bull guards. I started building buggies. Now I'll do stuff which nobody can do. And you know, those were some words of advice I picked from Chip Adams in the rallying as well, rallying world. You know, he really guided me many years ago. And you know, of course, I must also give it up to my wife, Noella. I mean, she's been a major pillar in all my achievements. And it's not easy, you know.
Yeah, you said once that, you know, sporting, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
And as a family, that's a sacrifice.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of money, you know. And now I was racing, my boys are racing, you know, the entire family is racing. It's not easy, it's a lot of sacrifice, but at the end of the day, I feel, okay, it's positive sacrifice because, you know, I'll look at some other individuals who would rather spend all this money in bars, you know, and partying after partying, and I feel that the sport also gave me a certain level of discipline, you know. Normally races on weekends, I'll be preparing to go for a race and my friends are preparing to go party, you know, for example. So there's a certain level of discipline, and I also encourage Ugandan parents out there. I'm happy that the numbers are growing, you know. At one time, so many years ago, I remember an interviewer coming. We had finished the races. They're trying to interview the riders, and this media person comes to me and says, "But Arthur, why are you the only one who can speak English? All these competitors do not know how to speak English."
Really?
Yeah, and you know, at that time, the people that were racing were, you know, the not the, you couldn't study, you couldn't be in school studying and then you're racing. Okay. So you either had to be a dropout, a school dropout, you know, to eventually get into racing at some point.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. You know, so now the tables have turned, you know, all these years, we now have, you know, like you said, we now have bikes and classes of riders from age 4. So, you know, I tell parents out there that I used to use motorcycling to motivate my children. If you perform well, you know, we'll get you a new bike. If you perform it, because most typical Ugandan parents will say, wemugulira pichi aja kusidwala. Or, you know, when I buy him a bike, he'll not focus on school and what. But it's actually the opposite. It can be the reward. It can be the reward. It's a reverse, you know. And you use that, you know. If you perform well, you know, I'll get you a new helmet, you know, new boots, new safety gear, you know. All those
some motivation then.
Yeah, you know. So I feel that sports, Ugandan parents, we need to put some space in the program for extracurricular activity.
Yeah.